Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
Thank you for joining me today, people. This is Inflewence, and today I got X-Transbots. Jocund? Jocund? I don't know. But this is Groove, you know, the protectobot. So yeah, here we go. We got another protectobot from X-Transbots. So let's go through some stuff. We got the card. Nice card if that's what you're into. We got the book, of course. Book was pretty good, pretty straightforward. Surprisingly, this is a great transformation. I kind of like it. There's some things I don't like about it, but I really like this figure. And we get the X-Transbots little preview, which I like this. Even though it's stuff we've seen before, I haven't seen some of these shots that they show. And they actually show some, you know, all their figures that they already showed. They have quite a few figures coming out. I don't know. I like that shot. Galvatron looks pretty good, but we're not here for that. So yeah, here's the 360. Of course, in the back, he has all this stuff. It's going to be what it is. It's not crazy for Groove. I mean, there's not much you can do with the motorcycle. And I mean, Groove as a figure, as a design, is just not that great. You know? Here's the box, your normal X-Transbots box. Nice, got the little cutout tech spec like back in the day. Groove as a design, a figure, he's just not the greatest design figure. It's hard to do a motorcycle, you know, in alt mode. He's not going to be the size of a real motorcycle. And in this mode, this is his design. He looks the part. This is one thing I have. I hate these don't stay on here well. Now I'm just going to get it out the way. I love the figure. I think it's probably one of the best Grooves I've seen. Granted, there's not a lot of Grooves in Masterpiece, but there have been a few Groove figures made and Chug and some of the undersized Masterpiece, I guess. Coin a new term. Got the details. Go here. See his face sculpt. I think his face sculpt is great. Has the gold eyes that are painted. Just stoic type of face. I do think he's pretty plain. Again, I think it's just the design. This kind of messes with my I don't like to say OCD because I think it's disrespectful to people that really have OCD, but it messes with me right here. It's uneven, and it could be something I did. It could be the way I pulled it. It's kind of hard to get out when you got to pull the waist apart. You'll see when I do the transformation. But yeah, it's pretty plain. It's got the gold. It's nice though, nicely painted. I haven't seen any chips yet, and I transformed this a couple times. I thought that was a chip, but it looked like some dirt or something. I don't know. But yeah, again, I'm going to take those off anyway. So you saw the guns down there. We'll discuss them. Let's talk about the accessories. So he holds his little weapon. I love the way he holds it. The way it looks, the way it fits in his hand. It's really tight. But then that makes it, and it's like they made where the magazine goes, they made his fingers just underneath it because he's on the 3-finger system with the one trigger finger, and then he can have his trigger finger out and you don't have to try to maneuver around it. I'm guessing they did that on purpose, but if not, hey, they got lucky. Because otherwise his gun, you would have to finagle his fingers into that hole. Now getting it out, on the other hand, makes me nervous because his thumb, it's hard to get out. There we go. It makes a liar out of me. Doesn't look that hard, but it is, believe me. Talk about the heads. We got the three heads here. You see if I can get them all in the shot together. They're all slightly different. They don't look that different, but they're slight variations. I kind of like this. I think this is more, no, I thought the eyes were more, I guess it's just how it was assembled, or maybe the way it looks on camera. Got these two guns, pretty much similar, pegging on the side, and they can peg in on the vehicle, even though it doesn't work too well. And you have his regular gun, which is all painted silver, and it's a pretty nice gun. You know, he always compare now. So first, bring in his teammate, Streetwise, and I think they look good together. They have a nice look. They are different colors, which, I mean, I like differences. Like, I like robots with differences, but I don't know how everybody else would like it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Yeah, they're definitely different colors. In vehicle mode, I don't know if it looks a little better as far as being on the same scale or the same color, but it doesn't bother me. I like that they're different. This is more of a white, like it's more of a white. This is more like a bone color, like I guess they would say bone, and this is like more white. I don't know what to say, white and blue. Prowl. I got GT side swipe. I know it's not exactly the scale, but I like it. And prowl. So yeah, they look good together, about the size of an Autobot car. Bot. Go through articulation. Now the head, it's hard for it to move because there's a little peg back here, well, a little catch for the peg for the backpack, and it bumps in. You just take this out. That's one gripe I have. I see what they try to do, like with the split joint, and where it'll grab on and then it'll go in and you can pull it out, but it doesn't really work like that. It just goes in. It looks like just a regular peg. So you just put it in. I mean, it's not terrible trying to, it's not super easy to get out, but you can just pull it out. And if you barely put it in, then you can get the spin that you need if you need it. But all the way down where you can't see the gap in the neck, he gets about that much side, that much up, that much down. No side to side movement. Arms. Get up that far, has a butterfly joint that gets in about there. But then this comes up because there's a peg right there that keeps this from swinging. But it's real easy. You just push that right there, and then you can get this in even farther. So I guess if you have a picture where he needs to be reaching over here or something, I don't know, but you can do it. Again, you got that butterfly there. That right there sometimes bothers me because it does come up, especially on this side. I don't know about this side. This side hasn't come up yet, I don't think. But because of the tab, it doesn't really, it fits, but I mean, it's just there. Like, it's not holding it or anything. You got a double jointed elbow that doesn't get you a double joint. So you can, no, you can't even fake it. Like, you can't even, trying to figure out. So I didn't have the arm all the way out, but so you got a double joint that gets you a little tiny bit more than 90 degrees, and there go this joint right there. That's what I mean when it comes out and moves. So yeah, you get barely more than 90, but there's like a double joint there. If they did something else, or maybe cut that gap a little bigger where that actual joint can get through there, probably would have been good. They did cut a little space out to get it a little more than 90 degrees, but like I said, we got this. The fist, I did talk about the fingers for a little bit. There's a fixed thumb, and you got the pointer finger that moves, and the other 3 fingers. And that's it. And you can move the hand side to side. Nothing else. You got this waist like this. You do get a crunch, a big crunch. And then with the legs, you get the splits, and they're on friction. No, they have feels like yeah, really, really soft ratchet. But it's fine. They go all the way up. One thing about mine, the pinhole has like paint in it, I think. And it's paint, and it's coming out from moving it. I think it's like working its way out where they just paint it over top of that hole. I mean, that doesn't look the greatest, and that's kind of picky. You got the knee joint. I like how they did this knee joint. Like, so it looks like the pipe. I think that's cool. And then how it goes up and it fits. It doesn't ever break this little sculpt right here. So I think that's thoughtful. The knees aren't double jointed. They kind of get, I guess they are 90. It's weird because they have weird angles. But I guess it's almost 90, not really 90. Forgot to do the hurdles. Hurdles you can do. And also you could probably get this leg up farther if you turn the wheel. You can also turn this wheel where, always put that up, put that wheel like that. And then you can put it up here. That's another thing, these pistons. And then you have the wheel like kind of, if I have it like this, I like it a little bit like these, a little bit down, because I don't like them up. But then it kind of compacts this back here, so it's not as far. But I'll leave it like this because it's transformation, so you know what you're doing. You got the split joint right here, and you have a toe. The front of the toe goes down, the back of the toe goes down, so you can get that. You got this deep rocker, and you have a heel spur that's on its own that you can move up and down and manipulate. Again, I think I got the rocker, and these wheels move, but they don't really need to. And that's it, I think, for articulation. So now let's get into this transformation. First off, what you want to do, what I do first anyway, is I forward this, push this down, flip this up if it's not already up, and it just pegs in right there. Flip that there. Then you want to push this. Well, you can move this. It helps with this piston, so it's not rubbing against there, even though I just rubbed it against there. Then you can push it down, pull this out, and then there's a peg right here and the hole right there where this peg goes, and then there's a peg up there that goes into that hole. So you move it until then, and you know you got it in the right spot when all that lines up. And here we go. There we go. Right there. It's not this peg. It's a peg behind here, right here. So that goes, pull the windshield up. So I'm just getting that together just to deal with it. Now let's put these, I usually put them down just so they're out the way. So I just pull them up just so they're out the way. So pull this out a little bit, pull these forward, pull this out again, just so it gets off that peg and you can pull it forward. And there is some die cast in this guy. He does feel hefty. I don't know if I said that. So you get that out like this, and then you can access this. This is pretty hard tab, but you gotta tab this, pull this out. I usually put 2 fingers, one on each side, just so I'm not like pulling on it and may pull this up. This bar looks to be, I don't know, I think it's die cast, so that's good. This isn't though, so who knows. But once you get that, you just want to leave that alone. Now the transformation isn't that crazy. It's I really like it. So now you can get the head where you want it, which is all the way open. Then just move these up here. They kind of encapsulate the head. And there's some smart stuff here that I really like. So once you get this situated up here, you want to move just the arm back. The arm's back like that. Then you can move this up, which is like the pedal. and you can move this out and then flip this down. And the same over here, push this arm back, then you can move, make sure it's all the way up, then you can move this pedal up, flip this out, and flip this down. Now with these arms, just turn around like this. You get these arms in here like this. You want to turn it so the ridges, the flat, like 90-degree side that's flat is on the outside. And then you also want to turn this so your thumb is up. Well, it would be back, but it's up looking at you. And then you want to collapse this. First time doing this is hard, and first time coming back is hard. So again, over here, just show it again. Flip it around. No, it was already flipped around. I don't know why, but flip it around. Flip this hand around. Make sure it's pointing up, and then collapse. You want to turn this 180. You have some stuff to contend with, so just move this down like that on each side, and then you should be able to just turn it easily. Then you can just move this out the way. Just move this like this. Eventually it'll go up like this. You can move it like that anyway. I don't know if there's any benefit. No, there's not. I don't see any benefit of leaving it down. So now with this, it can get a little tricky. You want to try to keep the legs straight because they want to fall down. They want to go like this, the upper body. You want to try to keep the upper body straight. Because what's going to happen is you're going to move these arms up into here. This peg right here is going to peg on, or that peg is going to peg in that hole. There's a peg there that's going to peg later. And there's a peg here that pegs into that on the body. And it can get kind of tricky because you're working with, and maybe that's the, yeah, that might be where the advantage is of leaving this open. So you might want to leave this open so it's not closed. See if it's closed, you block all that open. Don't forget to move the fist out. Now the fist is going to go around here and stick out the bottom. Just seems weird at first, but it does work when you're all done. So now you just want to make sure, again, make sure the legs are straight so you can get this fist there. And you just want to get it around this first because all this stuff can get in the way. And then just flip this up, get it under that without scraping the paint off. And then plug it in. And it's easier if you have it plugged in to lift it up and then plug it in here. And there you go. You got that how you should have it. Side, same way. You want to make sure this is what you're pushing up, not this, not yet anyway. So then you want to make sure you get your fist, you got your fist pointing up. Or I should say pointing this way. Because then you're going to move it like that. Move the fist like that. And then get it around this area right here. Just kind of like preemptively. And then you want to get this, and I'm making it look way harder than it is. It's not that hard, and it's actually kind of intuitive once you get there. All right, so over top of that, it's in there, and then you want to kind of get it where it needs to be. This can get a little tricky. Then you want to watch that peg. That peg would probably shear off if you don't lift it up right. And get this in where you need it to get in. And then put the peg where it needs to be. I can't even show that, so I won't. There we go. So it's like that. Then what you want to do is push this up here. There's a peg there and a peg there. It'll come back down, but I just do it just because. You can move the peg, the pedal where you need it to be. Again, over here, it kind of went up. But there's that peg again. You just want to push this up. It kind of makes the block, the engine block, which I think is cool. Hides the face up here. You got all this going on. Show these pistons. This you can move and just keep like this because it's eventually gonna fold and become the seat. This can get a little tricky. Pull this out right there, then move this apart. Now you got to move it apart the way it should be, like as far apart as possible. Make sure none of this is blocking. And it can get kind of hard. Those screws are kind of hard and it's kind of scary to me. You got to have it big enough. If this space is too small, the tire fits into there. So if you see a space that you don't think a tire can fit in, it's probably the same width as this. So, because it's this back tire here that's going to fit in there, which I think is smart the way they did it. It's not working the greatest. There we go. It's scary because this is plastic. I think there's die cast around here. The screws obviously are die cast, the slide, but this is plastic. I don't want to slip. I think it's big enough now. And this is a pain too, and you'll see when I go backwards. You got to flip this up in here, and there's no peg on it. Now, I don't know if there was supposed to be or what, but it's hard to get out without a peg. Tackle the legs. Feet are a little tricky. You got to move it down a little bit. And I can see these feet getting loose over time because they're a little wobbly. But you can move it down a little bit. There's a little a little piece of lever-like thing there that you get off that peg. So you get that lever off. Then you want to move these feet, curl the feet like that, and then move this all the way over. Hold this this foot, I should say, because it's a lot of stuff and it can get like messy over here. So now you can move this up like this and move this down back on that slider. I don't think I'm moving it down all the way because it doesn't seem to want to close all the way. I'm not sure if I'm doing it right or not. But that's how you're supposed to do it. Then you flip this back down and it messes with it. It covers that little hole. So it makes the whole saddlebag. I believe that's what they're called. I don't know. But this is like the back of the seat. So you can just leave it up for now because you can move it down later. So then over here, I'm going to try to show it maybe better, maybe not. I don't know. So you can do the first if you want so you don't forget. Move the foot up. Push it in like that. Now with this, you want to use the rocker. And I almost ripped off this earlier when I was messing with it. It did come out. It's not completely, I don't know if I broke something because it's now wobbly because it came out right there. But I believe that was my fault because I didn't know what I was doing over this area. So I like kind of was trying to move this down here this way for some reason. And then I slipped and caught this. So, well, thankfully these are going to be in Defensor mode. But still, I don't want to break it. But yeah, you flip that, you turn this a little bit, you flip it up, you get this thing out of here, and then you can, got a double slider there. You kind of move it up, move it over, and move it down. And you can't see that. And right here, this one, is this the one? I don't know. One of them seemed to go down better than the other. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this one goes down better. Maybe it's just the other one. Maybe it's just tighter. You move that down and I kind of keep the seat up because it's going to go down later. Now, this will slide into as you're manipulating it. I don't know if you can do it later, but it just gives you more room when you spread it apart. So you got that. Now you want to get these wheels. They're spring loaded. The spring isn't that hard. I grab right here, like underneath here with two fingers and like right here and pull the whole thing up like that. It's easier because if you grab this tire, you'll rip the tire off because it is rubber. So you grab that like that, and then there's two pegs up here that you want to move this too, and there's a peg, there's a space that fits the one peg in, and then there's a peg hole where the other peg goes, and it's like that, and you're good. You can move this out, but you don't really have to do anything with that yet. So then this is the same way. I show it from the back. I'll grab that like that and then move it up. And wait. Yeah, there we go. Right there. It's that there. I don't know. For some reason I was looking and I thought I had it somewhere else, but it's the other peg. There's another peg that pegs on right here. I didn't even realize that until right now, that there's two different pegs. So that's good. It's pretty secure. Then you want to pull this out, and you see that spring in there. That spring kind of gives me I don't know. It doesn't give me good feels. I'm hoping it lasts. I mean, I'm not going to be transforming this mad times anyway, but anyway, you pull this up, you flip this, and then you flip it down. It's kind of a slide joint, but you can kind of push it out a tiny bit to get it in there a little better. You're supposed to, I think you're supposed to be able to just slide it in, and it goes. So then over here, see if I can show it. You just pull this little piece out. And the reason for this is it gives it, if you have it up, it gives it the knee bend. It won't be able to bend if you have this up. And that's how you know if you're not transforming it, if you forget it later on when you go back, because you see it hits the leg, so leg can't bend. Now you want to slide this, move that up. Then you slide this on that, the actual ankle tilt, and move it up here. This is the only part, maybe if I move this, if I don't, no, you can't see it. Maybe if this is the only part right here that bothers me, because you got to put it around there, and it's really small, like the space you got to use. But at the same time, if maybe you didn't move this first, I think you could get it up. Let me see. Matter of fact, I mean, it is a review, so let me see if you can get it a little better. If you have it like this, and you move this, and see that still in the way. I don't know. I think it just might be in the way, or maybe if I move it the other way like this. No, that's even worse. Yeah, maybe there's a configuration you can get it to, so it doesn't bump up against that light, and that light is painted, but it's not a super big deal. And now what you do is try to keep this apart, and you put it together. You see, like normal motorcycle tires that split. You know, we've seen a million toys like that where it goes in. Actually, this is less. I've seen some crazy splits, but you just have two on each side, and you just gotta line them up, make sure they're right. But then there's a million other connection points, right here, right here. Once you connect all of them, you're doing pretty good, pretty solid. Now you want to move this up, still make sure it's right. Slide this up the legs, you can see, and you'll know when you have it all the way up, because the tire will fit in here. You can put these, you can move this if you want, just to try to make it easier. But you can put these pegs into these peg holes, so it lines up pretty well. You just gotta try the best you can. With that, you know that it's lined up correctly. You gotta get all this stuff lined up though. Smoother off camera, but of course when you're on camera it's like 10 times the the issue. Trying to wrap around the camera and pay attention to the shot and all that stuff. I don't think people understand that. So now everything should be good. Then you move these down, kind of move these up because they got to go around. Move this down. You can manipulate all this, so it's kind of, it's hard because it got to go around it, but it's easy to manipulate. Then you can move this and it forms the back of the seat, the cruiser, and I think I'm done. Just clean this stuff up. This doesn't tab on real well. And there you go. Make sure this is down where it needs to be. Sometimes these come up unnecessarily. It's great. I like the motorcycle. I think the paint's well. You can move these like this. Yeah, I think it's a great looking motorcycle. The paint's good. The yellow paint is great. The headlights are painted. This police right here is nice. The red accents is nice. The color, I know people didn't like the color a lot on the other one, Streetwise, but I like the color and I like this color. Like, I like them. These move. You don't really need a kickstand. These act kind of as the kickstand. Maybe that's the only gripe. You can see his hands, but this is a hard figure to do, and you can't really see them. It just looks like parts. I like how the arms line up with this little thing right here to make like the pipes. So it looks like kind of the, you know, all of the stuff that's in the motorcycle. This like just looks like motorcycle parts, and it's the head. Wheels are rubber. They don't roll at the greatest because they do get caught up, but it can roll. I mean, it's a motorcycle. You're not going to be rolling it down the block anyway. Saddlebags are nice. I think that's what they're called. I hope I'm saying that correctly. The police, the paint is nice. I got a chip, it looks like right there. Make sure it's not some dirt or something. I don't want to scratch it more. Yeah, I got a chip right there. There's some, it's painted nice and it's painted fully. So I guess you're going to get chips. That's what happens with figures. Again, this right here, where I almost, I guess I almost broke it. I'm not sure. You can tell that it's off. I don't know what I did that this one isn't. Maybe I broke it right there. Maybe it was glued on or something. No, it don't look like it. It came out right here, so maybe it was just friction. Oh, we're going to go back to robot mode. And I was dreading doing this because I've started, anybody that watches my videos, I started doing it. And I was dreading when I saw this figure was coming. I'm like, oh man, when I go back and forth, I don't know how long that's going to be, but it's not really that complicated. So just lift the seat up. And it's really intuitive, to tell you the truth. Once you do it once, you're good, to me. So lift that up, get everything unpegged. Because the hard parts, I say that because the hard parts are easier going this way. Unpeg that, you can move this back. It's a lot easier. Just move it back and get it until it clicks. Now you can unpeg this way easier. You can work on move this out, the side panels, move the side panels out. I just flip this up just because. I don't know if it's the proper time right now, but I just do what I can so I don't forget stuff. Now you want to move this foot back down. Got to move it back around there, back around the lights. And it's giving me a little bit of problems. I don't know why. But, I mean, I guess if you take the spring out, that's one takeaway. And there's paint chipping there, and that's from moving this around there. Now that this is out, I might as well just flip this around. It just goes around here like that. And then you can get this tire where it needs to be. It's already out. It's already where it needs to be. So again, you can do it again over here. And let me see if I can move this out a little bit. See, this is the only way I think you can move it out from the spring and then move it down, but that's a lot. But if you don't want to scrape it, it's not a lot. I mean, it's what you got to do. So then you move that where that is, move this over. Try not to scrape those lights. It's going to be hard. Then you move that down, get this heel spur together. It's on that slider joint, so you want to try to, I hold it with 2 fingers like this so I don't pull the foot off. I did hear that people was breaking the foot. I'm not sure how, but that could have been what they were doing, or trying to move it the way it shouldn't be. So then you just move it up like this, and you move this again, and you can tell what position it is by how this moves. If that doesn't go over, you don't have it right. You don't have this all the way up. So you just slide it as far as you can go, but then it can go too far too. I know it's a lot of information, but I'm just saying. And then the heel spurs, whatever you can do, you can leave them like that. And just move the feet out. Then this part right here, so you don't forget it. Take this, move that up. You don't really have to unpeg it because it's the joint that's all the way through. You move this down, then push it in. Stays like that, and you got the one leg done. Then over here, you can do the same thing with this. Got that, move that up. Do it from this angle. Then you kind of move this down by holding the foot so you don't rip the foot off. Then you move this up and down again. Put that on there. Heel spur how you want it. Move the foot out. Feet are a little hollow. Move this up. And again, it doesn't bother me. Some of this stuff, and I don't think people always understand that some of this stuff that I say don't really bother me. It's just I'm making a note of it for whoever's watching the video, so they just know. I try to make a note of things like that I notice. I don't do it all. I mean, I don't notice everything, but I just try. This you may need for the sake of time, I'm going to use a tool. But I didn't use a tool yesterday. I did get it out with my hands, but it's hard. Then you just close this together and then do that. Now we're up here. Now you want to kind of move this around. And maybe that was good to leave this up and not move this down. I just realized that, like, maybe you should move it down after you get the arms in, because you can see it's much easier to get this out of here or in here than it is before. So let's move that. Just kind of get this out of, I kind of get both of them out of that little hole down there. It's kind of easier to just do that. Just pull it out. Or it was easier before. There we go. It's out of there. It's just not. There we go. And then you try to get this out. Move this out as best possible. Let's move the fist. Again, you get this out. Move that out as best possible. Move the fist. Now with this, I like to leave it like it is. Like this. You can have it different ways. But you can move that now so it's in the back and get this stuff out the way. Then I move this down just so it's out the way. Again. Pull the arms. The arms are very, very tight. Whew. Pull that out. I move it. Just get the fist right. I mean, you can do that whenever. But then you want to move this back here and then you can move this down, so then you can move the arm forward and get it in its position. Over here, pull the arm out. Yeah, this side is better. Move that so the thing is forward. So it's forward. Then you got the arm up. Move the engine block in. Move this down. Then move the arm forward. And now you kind of prop this up. You can kind of get the head out of here. Move these down, but don't move them all the way down, and flip the head back. Just don't move them like this because them arms are making it hard to see, because they peg into the arms right here. And you can do that now. Just got to hold this up so that cavity is open, and you just move the arms in. Then you can peg to kind of keep the arms where you want them at. Then peg this up into the area right here. This peg goes into there. You can move this down too. Well, move that like that. Then you can move this stuff up in here. And this is just like this to create a so that comes off. I didn't realize that. Thought it was one piece. Obviously that was my fault, because I was trying to get this in there like this, and I want this back here. And then you can move this down. I like the tire like this because it seems like less of a backpack. Pretty much you can move this down just to, so it's not as high. And what I was saying is, again, I showed it before, but you can have it like this. I even do it like this a little bit, just so it's even. You can push this down, and you can leave it like that, and it's even more compacted. So then you can't even see the tire from the front. You can move this down as far as you can get it. Then let's finish it off with the knees. Go down here. You can go in here, I mean. And there you go. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it, and I will get over with you in another one.
Life ain't As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want.